Hello guys, here is Abdullah Zaloul and today discussion of how to build your own NestJS project infrastructure for extra scalability, extendability, to decouple your modules from each others. So firstly, we will see the most common approach to do this and then the preferable one and how to implement it and the benefit of doing this. So I asked ChatGPT, it gives me the following answer, that the feature-based way. Your SRC diar will have a common module, contains decorator, filter, guards, interceptor, and you have a shared module like containing file uploads, DTOs, types, interfaces. And some developer try to have common or shared module. Some developer have both to group all the things which is common between the modules. Then the core module as auth and auth for authentication, authorization, database and config module, and finally the feature module, which will carry the business modules you try to implement. This approach is good, but with the time, it may be very complicated or very nested, because some developers have a confliction between where is the common file will be founded, at the common diar or the shared module. In addition to this, why you create a config module and you have a built-in config module and config service provided by NestJS. And of course, why you create a mediator module and you have an app module. So I will explain an example here. Let's say we have a book store, have a book entity, and every book entity have its own genre and author. So some developer takes this approach for a bad way for over-engineering, like creating a book module and author module and genre module. And of course, this is not good because all of this module is under the scope of bookstore module. And they have a relation at the database level. So try to make the things very simple. So you should have only a bookstore module. And of course, you should have authentication or authorization module and mediator module, which will be our app. So let's say we need to create author at this endpoint. So it should be protected by an auth guard because we need only authorized users to create an auth. So here is our structure. We grab all the files related to the app intro like app service and app controller under this app diar. At this app diar, anything is shared or common between the modules will be stored here. So you will not have to search for it, like decorator, exception filter, guards, interceptors, pipes, and of course, middleware. And we have a config file which store all the app config and export them per class. Means we have a class for app config, for example, one for type RM config, and one for GWT config. And finally, we export them and register them as we need. So you will not search where is my config here. And if you need to separate any module, you can take the config file with it. And here we go. Auth module and bookstore module will implement repository pattern, and we use the repository for database logic and the service for business logic. So let's track this endpoint we talk about. Okay, so I will go for bookstore controller here and author. So if we check, we protect using auth guard. So the auth guard will be stored at the app guard. All the authentication logic will be at the authentication module, but the guards or any shared things will be at the app module. So the author controller take it from app module, and app module calls the auth repository or auth service from the authentication module. So let's check all the modules file here at bookstore. Here is the authentication authorization module. So if we check bookstore, it doesn't know anything about the authentication module. And this is what we need. And it doesn't import app module because we create app module as global one and export the things we need to export like auth module. And of course, auth module have its own exporters. By this way, if you try to change your authentication service tomorrow and you didn't need to change anything related to this code, you will do it easily. As you can see, we will go for the auth guard and change the logic here, and your app will still work smoothly. And I was wondering why developer doesn't use for root async and register async to configure their modules using the config service provided by NestJS itself. So for example, I need to configure type RM. I just call for root async, use factory to get the app factory and get the config module or config service here. And I get this type RM config, which is registered here as the module, this one. So the app module file shouldn't carry a lot of configuration because it is responsible for handling the dependency injection, not handling your configuration. Okay, I think simply that's it. Please subscribe, leave a comment with your opinion to improve this content. Thanks a lot. Have a nice day.